I'm Kareem Rae, your host at the One Soccer Nation podcast. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Kayla De Nobrega. Kayla is the marketing manager at Soccerex. Kayla, thank you so much for taking the time today. How are you doing?
Thank you so much for having me today. I'm really good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. This one's super exciting because, we met in, usually I meet people on the podcast first, and then eventually in some time when I go out to the US at an event, I meet them in person. But in this case, we actually met in person last year in 2023 at Soccerex in Miami. So that was pretty cool. And ever since we've been building our relationship online now, and I'll see you soon again in Miami this year in 2024. But super excited to have you on. The first question I want to ask you is how did you get involved in the beautiful game?
So, growing up in South Africa, like I was always growing up around my cousins and stuff, so I always had influence in soccer, or football, so to say. And I think even jumping into my career years later, having that background really helped. And I started off as an intern at Soccerex and eventually grew and found myself in the position I am in today. And I think that's just how I got into the beautiful game. And it's just such a great opportunity that I've had, and I've loved every second of it.
That's amazing. How long did it take for you to get from an intern position to where you are now as the marketing manager?
I was an intern for about 2 months, and being in South Africa with the rest of the team being in the UK, naturally, I was like, "You know what? Let me just take the opportunity with both hands," and I did, and grew into a part-time role in the June of 2023, and by the end of Miami 2023, got made marketing manager, and it was honestly the best thing ever. I happened to work on that campaign and the Europe campaign, and now on the Miami campaign as well, so just great opportunities and also just a great work environment to be in.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such an amazing opportunity that the time that we're living in with the internet to be able to work remote and switch in person as well. So that's super cool. So as the marketing manager at Soccerex, a global leader in the business of football, how do you ensure that your brand messaging resonates with diverse audiences across different regions and cultures?
This one made me think so much because it wasn't something I initially always thought about, but obviously going into every day and communicating so like with so many different countries, people, audiences, it's something we always have to keep at the forefront of what we do, especially in all our communication. So having such a rich history, it gives us the language that we've always communicated in. And I think it just helps me as well understand the brand. And we have such a good brand that our communication is made really easy. So I think for different campaigns, we obviously swap it up. And like Miami is slightly more vibrant. It's the magic city. Welcome to the 305 kind of thing. And then going back to Europe for the first time in 5 years, this year in May, it just was that more traditional sense. And we took a step back and really stuck to the traditional football. So I think each audience obviously will have its own take, but keeping our core brand values, that just makes our communication so easy.
For sure. There's a bit of a difference between Europe and Miami and soccer. And
Very much so.
so, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Soccerex was founded in the UK.
Yes, it was.
So I'm interested to know, like, if you're more so football or soccer, and I'll tie it to Soccerex. Which event do you enjoy more, the ones that happen in the UK or the ones that happen in the US?
Well, I really enjoyed the US one. I also think it's a bit of maybe a bit of bias because it was my first one as well. So I was taken by surprise. It was obviously in the States, everything is bigger, better. Messi had just joined into Miami as well. So there was that boom. And leading up to 2026, there's the World Cup. And also having, I mean, MLS has been around for a good couple of years, but having so many other leagues and federations and people moving all their head offices to Miami itself, it was just, it was an incredible experience. So for me, I think I do prefer Miami over Europe, but not saying that Europe wasn't amazing. It was amazing in its own right. For me to walk around being like, this is my second event that I've worked towards, it was just something so incredible. And being at the Ajax Stadium and having our first stadium event was also just something so beautiful to see. And to see it all come together, it was just, it was so amazing.
So it's sounding like Miami is over Europe, or Which if you had to choose,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
sure. I mean, as you mentioned, just the timing too is perfect. 2023 with all that happening, couldn't just it
Yeah.
just makes it so much better.
Exactly, and last year was our 4th year there, and then this year will be our 5th year in Miami, so we also have quite a good foundation. So I think, yeah, I'm just gonna say Miami was my favorite, and I'm really looking forward to this November as well.
Nice. Me too. Um, so Soccerex has been a pioneer in the football industry since 1996. How has the landscape of football marketing evolved over the years, and what strategies have you found most effective in keeping Soccerex at the forefront of the industry?
I think even from me joining more recently and kind of joining the environment more recently, so to say, from a traditional fan perspective, there's just so much happening at the moment. I think even from last year when I started to now, there's just like so many more strategies, so many more things to do. And it's so incredible to see everyone getting involved as well. Like from me growing up in a age where we can tap into any sort of information. We just Google it. It's not like we have to go to a library and source a book or something like that. Everything is at our fingertips. So seeing how people take their imagination and actually create something so beautiful, everyone also becomes an expert in the game, so to say. And I think that's also a strategy for us is taking all these trends and staying on top of it as well and communicating that with the public because there's so many different avenues. And I think going to a Soccerex event as well, you don't realize how much goes on until you actually stand there. It's just something so incredible to see. And I didn't fully understand until I was at an event because there's so many different avenues. If you think you're coming to speak to, say, a club owner, you'll be blown away by everything else that comes with it. There's fans, there's micro influencers, there's interviews going on, there's football freestylers, there's high level C suite people, and we're all in one room. So I don't think you get that anywhere else in the world. And I think taking that and resonating it in our brand strategy and through digital marketing is just something we're doing really well at the moment. And that's why we stay the like global football leader.
Absolutely. And when I reflect back at my experience in 2023, it was very intimate. Having the opportunities to meet with decision makers, different vendors, and as they always say, everyone knows everyone, and it's a pretty small group of people, but there was a lot of people there, and I think it's such an amazing opportunity again to meet people, shake hands, and talk soccer or football. Um,
Yeah.
as there's everyone from around the world there. So it's such an amazing opportunity. Um, what would you say is your favorite part of about working at SoccerX?
I think there's so many different aspects, but for me, my personal favorite, and I might also be saying this from a position because I do love talking to people, but the people that I've met throughout my journey at Soccer X has just been something that's been so eye-opening and so inspirational as well. Like if you're having a day that you're feeling down and maybe you didn't want to have a call, but I always get on the calls and just left so inspired and thinking about other ideas and seeing what other people are doing and hearing about other innovations and like technologies and stuff is just so incredible. So I definitely think the people I've met along the way has just been something that I don't think I would have been able to do anywhere else.
For sure, definitely a lot of amazing people doing great
Mm.
work, positive work around the world. Um, with the event that's coming up for this year in 2024 in Miami, you guys got a different venue. Um,
Yes.
Can you share the venue and the excitement behind this one?
I think obviously going from a convention center, which is something we have done in the past, to then jumping to a stadium and having that whole glitz and glam about being in a stadium, the functionality of it as well. It's so easy to just set up. The infrastructure is there already. You just kind of bring the people. And then going to a hotel, which is an iconic venue. I mean, the guitar speaks for itself as well. And then coming and bringing basically everyone in football into one area at a majestic venue. It's like something you couldn't do anywhere else. So I think everything just came together so nicely. And I think for our fifth one, it's just so iconic as well. like fifth time in Miami. Let's go big or go home kind of thing.
I don't know if it could get any bigger than this in Miami. And what a time to be alive for in soccer in the U.S. Okay, so could you mention the name of the hotel?
So we're gonna have the event at the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel, and then it'll be in the conference area, but definitely just an amazing venue to be at, and I'm really excited to go.
Got it. Yeah, me too. Okay, so switching gears, I want to ask you, what is the hardest part about your job to you? Like, and if maybe it's not hard, it's maybe a challenge.
A challenge, I think, also because we traditionally an events business, and kind of being like, okay, yes, that is our core, but how can we make that go all year round? So it's not really a new thing, but it's a focus of mine, and that would be Soccerex TV and staying at the forefront of being the leading global football business event. So staying on top of all the news, all the partnerships and the collaborations, and like linking people to each other, because yes, we network at the events, but how do people network when we're not at the events, and what if some people can't make it? So linking those people in the industry and kind of joining everyone together. And I think that's what makes us so special, is because whether you're on other sides of the globe, we can connect you. And that's kind of what the event does, but it encapsulates it in 2 days. So what we're doing throughout the year is doing basically what we do at an event, but not such a niche environment. And also being at the event, you can't meet everyone in one place. Sometimes it takes years to meet the people that you'll meet at the event itself. So taking that and putting it into our digital strategies and into our marketing communications, and kind of just showing everyone what there is to do. And there's so many different avenues. I mean, you could be an academy, and you could link up with a content creator, and it's just tying all those knots together, which it is a challenge, but it's something so exciting and so amazing to see when it does all come together.
Hmm. I really like the point that you made in regards to, yes, the event happens. It's great in-person interactions, but we also want to keep people connected digitally and consistently. So that's a great point that you had mentioned that I really like. Um,
Yeah, that's also like our slogan, like we are football connected. And I think taking that and resonating it through all our communications is something so important to us.
yeah, yeah, I remember. I think I was actually in the logo that I put in the design. So yeah, I do
Yes.
remember. Sure. Um, your passion for brand management, where does that come from?
I think I've always been a bit particular in everything that I do. I think growing up being very particular and sometimes being called a little unique in doing so, I think I've loved to take inanimate objects and give them a personality. And that is kind of what you do with the brand as well, and then brand management, and just taking that personality and throwing it out there for everyone else to see, using your imagination and also seeing how other people would interpret certain things. And I think that's such a unique trait to have as well, because we need to obviously resonate with everyone across the globe. So I think my passion and just having certain qualities as a person has really helped me with my career as well.
Nice. It all comes together.
Yes.
So your passion for brand management, social media, and digital marketing is evident. Can you share a successful campaign or initiative you led at Soccerex that particularly stands out in your career?
I think going back to being quite fresh to Soccer X last year and actually arriving in Miami, I think for me, that was the biggest thing. And just standing there in a room full of thousands of people and feeling like, okay, we did this. This was us. Like these were blood, sweat, and tears for months on end, late nights, calls with everyone trying to organize things, last minute things changing. And you stand there, and when it comes together, it's just the most rewarding thing ever. And taking that and spinning it around a bit and going to Amsterdam as well. It's the most rewarding feeling walking through and being like, we did this. And also the communication that I did and we did as a team, like that's what got people here. It's all word of mouth. It's all people staying connected with each other, and people have been coming for years on end. So it's also a community that we've created. And I think that's something so special as well, because not every venue you walk into actually feels like a family. And I think, like you mentioned earlier as well, you're in a room full of people, but the community feels small. And I think that's what Soccer does so well and really encapsulates everything, because when you come together, you are a community and you feel like you're part of the bigger picture.
Absolutely. And the the the, the type of people that you're going to connect to, or there's a specific word that I'm looking for, but um I don't want to only just say great people, but there are people with great backgrounds within the beautiful game that are not just working in it just because it's work. It's because they're passionate and they love it and they're obsessed with it. And there's so many stories, so many experiences, so much value to be shared, that these individuals that come to this event can share with you, that to new individuals within the space like myself. And when I came to Soccerex for just a little story for the first time, I'm looking out, seeking knowledge in those relationships. So that's what I really value, is the type of connections that you can connect to out there is very valuable.
I
Um,
think even saying like they're legends of the game, and legends in their own right, they could have been a historic football player and that could be their legendary story, but it could be someone else who started a foundation and they've impacted so many people's lives and that could be their legendary story. So I think having all of these people have so many stories and come from so many different backgrounds, it's something you don't get anywhere else. And I think that's why I was going to say legends of the game and everyone in their own right.
100%. You know what? I'm gonna do some name dropping. I got to listen to Don Gardner uh, from the MLS. I got to meet the mayor of Miami and take a picture with him. Got to reconnect with Amanda Vanderveld from USL Super League. Ran into Dan Hallman and Matt Rita from USL. So again, it's a great opportunity to reconnect with people in the beautiful game. And as you said, the legends. I don't think I got to meet legends yet. I know there was legends there, but again, I'm still learning and learning everyone that's part of the game. So I've met a few at other events, but I know that they're there at Soccerex, and I'll be looking forward to meet them this year.
Well, funny story because I met Alessandro Del Piero, but I just saw everyone taking pictures with him. And I was like, this looks so cool. Let me also jump in and take a picture.
Right.
And Mac pulled me aside and he's like, do you know who that is? And I'm like, oh, but he must be a football player. And he's like, that's like one of the biggest legends of the game. And I'm like, to my surprise, well, I got a picture, so pat on my back, I was happy and my socials were blowing up. But it's these types of people that you meet when you're actually at the event itself. And for me, not being a football fan or watcher for like years on end, I didn't know that wasn't my generation. So coming in and learning all these like people and who they are and the impact they've had, it's just something so amazing.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say? Like, how do you know how you guys get these big name individuals? Like, I know you guys have been a lot around for a long time, but like, what really goes into that? Bringing, even like the Don Gardners, et cetera, et cetera.
It's also case by case because a lot of it is we have such a good reputation within the industry that a lot of people want to be heard and they want to be seen at our events because just every all eyes are on the event. So whether they say something impactful, there could be so many reporters there that report that and give feedback within the news, and that could be really good PR for them. So we also have really good relationships with certain institutional partners, and they also bring talent like part of the deal as well. So there's that, and also then it gives them a good reputation at the events and to be like, oh look, Serie A's here, they brought Alessandro Del Piero, or La Liga's here, they do XYZ at the event as well. So there's certain relationships, and I think it is also case by case, but more the relationships we've built and being such a strong brand that people want to be seen and they want to be part of it.
Absolutely. So, just to touch on what you said, that's definitely another reason why I wanted to be a part of it and come out, and again, that's why I'm coming out again. So definitely lots of value to 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 gain from being at Soccerex. Um,
Yes.
with saying that, this is a perfect segue into the next question. Given Soccer X's reputation for delivering unique networking and content sharing platforms. How do you leverage digital marketing to enhance the experience of these events and maintain engagement post event? I think you touched on post event, but if you could just touch on, the content sharing platform and how do you guys leverage the digital marketing to enhance the experience?
Of course. So I know during COVID, we also did a fully live webinar event. And I think taking that and obviously not taking away the experience from people to see the content after the event, but having the content at the event and being, okay, this is our core. And then afterwards being like, okay, well, let's put this on social media because there's so many controversial lines that are dropped. There's so many quotes that are said. Also, we have the Soccerex TV studio, which people can utilize and film podcasts in. I mean, maybe there might not be a chance for these certain people to be in the room at one time again, depending on where they are at their career. So having those certain pieces of content and cutting it up and sharing it across social media, there's just so much to go off of. And we have hours of content that we go through afterwards. And I think there's just so much that can be shown throughout the year, and you wouldn't even see the same thing twice. So I think pre-event, also leading up to the conversations, meeting people, kind of connecting the dots, and then at the event itself, chopping up all these certain bits that are said, conversations that are had, lines that are dropped, and then after the event, wrapping it up and just showing people what happens at the event and what the essence of the event is essentially.
For sure. I'm interested to know because when I came last year, I didn't know that there was going to be a studio, and then when I seen the studio, I was like, whoa! I was blown back because the amount of equipment and technology and the look of it was just high quality, and it's going to be back this year. So, like, how did that all come together? Like, was that always something that you guys had, or was it something that you guys just recently implemented in 2023?
So we used to have studios, but they were part of broadcasters, and we didn't have a solely Soccer X TV studio. And because it is one of our focuses at the moment, we were like, okay, let's build a studio. And before we had even arrived at the event, there were so many people interested because everybody wants to share their story. Everybody wants to get a piece of somebody else, maybe, and share that amongst their audience as well. So, well, we didn't know it was going to be like such a hit, so to say, but it was incredible. Like it was jam packed. There was back to back interviews. There was so much being said. There was so much content being shared amongst everyone. And I think it's something that we couldn't pass up on. I mean, we had to do it again. So we're partnering with the same company, KRH Media, and they're going to build the studio for us again. So it just gives everyone such a good opportunity to be on site, to have a quiet room, to just film whatever they need to film, speak to the certain people that they need to, and kind of just create content. And that's what we're here for as well. We need to create content so that people can have these conversations, they can hear these conversations, and it can be resonated within the wider audience and the fans.
100%. Did people have to schedule in to get some time to do interviews? How did that work?
So before the time, we usually reach out to certain partners who are going to be there and also certain content that we wanting to see. And then we create a schedule. And then usually at the event, it's naturally that everyone sees something and they want to be a part of it as well. So we leave certain slots and we slot people in where we can. And I mean, everyone changes everything. Things happen, things change. Suddenly, this person has an interview somewhere else and we have to change it. So there's always opportunity for people to jump in and kind of share their story.
Nice. Well, that's good to know. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it this year. I mean, especially with our partnership.
Yeah.
So, super excited. Um, the football industry is rapidly evolving, with technology and data playing an increasingly important role. How do you see the future of digital marketing in football, and what trends are you particularly excited about?
I mean, there's certain things that I don't even fully understand yet. AI is changing everything at such a fast pace. I was considering, I was like, maybe I need to go study again because I was just like, there's so many more things that pop up all the time. And I think trying to stay with the trends, but also keeping with a lot of the algorithms, it also changes a lot. So I mean, one week Instagram could be saying, "Oh, post stories," and then all of a sudden it shifts again. So we try to stay very on trend and try to be at the forefront of everything. So whether there's small changes and we keep to our actual brand, so just tweaking as we go along because there's so much that you can get sucked into that black hole of just like a digital marketing black hole. Like there's so much to even cover. And I think staying true to who we are, keeping our consistent messages, it resonates really well with our audience. So that's kind of what we like to see, but also taking that and there's so many different partners that we have partnered with and are going to partner for this event as well. And they're working with big clubs and stuff to showcase their technology. And it might not be digital technology, but it might be technology in the fact that they're wearing a vest and it tracks all of like their heart rate and their speed and everything like that. So that can be taken into the digital marketing and you can showcase that to fans because they also want to see this like evolvement and they also want to be part of these conversations so that when they arrive at the stadium to watch the game they understand these moves that managers are making to take off players at maybe a certain time because that's when they're dipping and rotating them and starting to understand the thought process behind everything. So I think yes, digital marketing is changing so much, but I think technology within the game is changing just as much and just as fast.
100%. Is there any AI that you guys have implemented into your workflows yet?
Nothing really yet. I mean, we use AI for quite a few things, but not necessarily technology. Everything we do ourselves. But I think it is in the near future.
For sure. I mean, it definitely helps move things faster and automate things, but AI is like, a conversation that's been trending for a while now, and it's pretty cool technology. Um, and seeing how it's what's the word I'm looking for? Connecting with all these different industries, not just soccer, and it's how it's helping all these different industries. Pretty cool. With saying that, I have some fun questions. Um, what is your favorite part? I don't know. Did I ask you this? Your favorite part about the work that you do now? I,
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay. I,
Yes.
okay. Do you have who's your favorite team? Football team on the men's side.
Ev- Everybody asks me this, and I plead the fifth because I don't necessarily have a set team that I would support. I just think I came into it and was like, okay, there's so much going on. I actually never actually chose a team myself. So yeah, I'm gonna plead the fifth because I actually still haven't chosen a team yet.
Got it. What about on the women's side? You got to have a team on the women's side.
I honestly don't. There's just so much that I see every day, and there's so many different opinions, and I'm like, where do I even start?
Yeah,
Like, I don't know where to start. So I think for me, I've just watched the game. I just see what's happening. I hear what's happening, and I haven't really chosen a specific team.
sure. Okay. What are your thoughts on the 2026 World Cup that's coming up? How do you feel about it? And what are your thoughts?
I'm excited. I think it's going to be an incredible event. Coming from Qatar and having it in the Middle East and seeing what they did, and then taking our history with the US and being in the US last year, I think it's going to be something really incredible. I think, like I said earlier, the States for me just feels like it's bigger and better. I mean, it's basically a whole continent, well, just the states itself, and then you have Canada and Mexico. So I think it's just going to be so incredible, and I think it's going to be such a wide variety of diverse people coming together in one place. And I think that's the essence of a World Cup as well. It's just having everyone from around the world unite around the beautiful game. And I think that's something really special.
For sure. I mean, and it's the first time that three countries are hosting all at the same time, so that's pretty cool. Um,
Honestly, maybe one reservation would be the logistics of it. Because for me, I'm like, I would be exhausted if I had to fly across the country and it's a different time zone. But I'm sure everything is ironed out and everything is sorted.
for sure. This will be the last the last question. If you're able to answer this, looking into the future of Soccerex, skipping 2025, looking at 2026 in the US, are you able to share any plans? Because I mean, for the timing, I mean, whether it's before or after the World Cup, because I don't remember the dates, but for a Soccerex event, what's that looking like? If you're able to share.
I mean, Miami for us is kind of our headline event for the year. Going into 2025 and 2026, nothing is 100% confirmed yet, so I can't say anything. But I think it would be a no-brainer to be in the States itself, especially because of the World Cup. So I think definitely keep your eyes across our socials for any specific announcements. But yeah, I can't say anything just yet.
Okay, sounds good. And to end off, can you share with our audience, where they can learn more about Soccerex and where they could get their ticket?
So you can go onto our website, www.soccerex.com, and then you can go onto our little button that says buy your tickets. Whether you want to buy your tickets or whether you want to learn more about our event, you can just read up more about our event online as well. And then, I mean, everything is on our website. You can go scroll through, you can go look at our history, you can look at our insights page where we give a lot of news and stuff. So there's so much to do. And then we also have a discounted rate at the hotel. So that's also on our website. So definitely go take a look, whether you want to come to the event or whether you just want to stay in touch with us. Yeah, go online.
Awesome. And Kayla, just to confirm, even if people don't purchase a ticket online, they're able to come on the day of the event to purchase a ticket in person, right?
So this year, because the capacity is a bit different, and we're really selling out really quickly, I don't think that will be the case. So don't hold me to it. But I think rather purchase your ticket in advance. If you a media rights holder, you can register for a complimentary ticket, which you can do on our website as well. So I think rather come prepared. I would hate for you to get to the door and then you actually get turned away. So I think, yeah, rather just purchase in advance and make your plan to come to Soccerex Miami 2024.
Sounds good. And I'll make sure to have our discount code underneath. It's
Definitely.
OSN 20. You'll get 20% off a Soccerex ticket, and we look forward to having you there. Kayla, thank you so much for taking the time for being on the One Soccer Nation podcast.
Thank you so much for having me today.